Happy Solar Sunday. It's Jaime Greene, the Solar Queen, and in this video, I am going to be discussing why it is an excellent time to go solar during the wintertime. So a lot of people, when they start thinking about solar or going solar, it's usually in the summertime when their utility bills are skyrocketing because their air conditioning is blowing. And the more air conditioning you use, the more kilowatt hours you use, which means your electricity bill skyrockets. So by the time you think about solar in the summertime and actually get it installed and inspected and then interconnected, it's usually the fall time or winter time. So by that time it's too late and you have to wait a whole entire year to capture the summertime sunshine. So why it's a good idea to go start thinking about solar in the wintertime is because by the time you actually get to installation and then if you need a main service panel upgrade, all that is going to be done, but then you likely will be PTO'd and ready to go by the late spring, early summer, which is the perfect time then to really eliminate your expensive high electricity bills in the summertime. So I just actually got off of a Zoom appointment with a gentleman tonight who actually he lives in my neighborhood and is big in the community and whatnot, and was ran into one of my solar customers today. So it was really kind of fun. He's like, "Oh yeah, I ran into some people who went solar with you earlier this year and said had nothing but good things to say." So that really made my day. So that set it up for our appointment to go really, really well. And for him, he said it to himself. This is really a no-brainer. Solar is really a no-brainer. And at the end of the day, for him, uh, you know, it's locking in an incredible kilowatt hour rate that's going to be produced, solar energy that's going to be producing for the next 30 years plus. So for him, it was a no-brainer, and he's gonna. We went over everything, gave him two scenarios for different solar panels and whatnot. Normally, I don't do that. Normally, I'm going to just give him one, but I wanted him to see the difference in amount of panels with one type of solar panel versus the other, and the price difference really was maybe a couple of $1,000s difference, but that was it. But we were talking about the timeline and what to expect when going solar now instead of next year in the summertime. Couple of reasons why you want to think about going solar in the wintertime. If you live, well, not if you live in California, but anywhere. The tax credit, the federal tax credit that is currently at 26%, that is going to be stepping down at the end of next year down to 20%. So you want to, if you are eligible for the tax credit, which you have tax liability that is equal to or greater than the tax credit for going solar, you really, really should consider doing it this year. Like, start the conversation with about going solar right now. Get it installed. Get it in, PTO'd, which means given permission to operate by the utility company early next year. One, to capture the summer sun, and two, to guarantee that you get that tax credit or at least be eligible for it. Because technically, you're supposed to be interconnected by the time the tax year is over. So that's really, really important. The other thing is rates continue to climb. So your utility rates, gosh, on average right now in Northern California is 28 cents a kilowatt hour. It's very expensive. I'm with time of use, it's a little bit of a different story. Some people are paying 28 to 36 cents a kilowatt hour based on the time of day that they're using that energy. And so when you go solar, you hedge yourself, you lock in a lower rate and it stays fixed and you're no longer subject to rate increases. So that's another reason why you want to go solar. Think about it right now. So the tax credit, you've got you're keep protecting yourself from rate increases. You are also the thing that's happening in California right now is they're looking at NEM 3.0. Right now we're in NEM 2.0, and what that does is it moves homeowners who are on the tiered system over to time of use. they're going to be changing you over to time of use eventually. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But when you go solar, you get switched over to time of use no matter what. And they have a connection fee or it's called a distribution charge, and it's about $10 a month right now. If the utility companies get their way and the California Public Utility Commissioners grant them their desires, which is a NEM 3.0, you're looking at a much more expensive monthly connection fee is what we call it. And it's I've seen numbers anywhere between $60 to $95 a month. So the utility companies want to make it much more difficult for homeowners to go solar, because every homeowner that, like for instance, this homeowner I just met with, over the next 30 years, if they did nothing, they just kept doing what they're doing right now, and they never saw a rate increase. Well, no, a 6% rate increase, which it's more like 8 to 15% right now for PG&E. At a 6% rate increase compounding over the next 30 years, they would spend $290,000 for electricity. So, I think that's a lot of money. That's like the price of houses in other parts of the country. So, that's where he literally said out loud, "This is a no-brainer." So, these are reasons why you want to go solar, but why you want to do it now is you want to avoid the rush. Everyone thinks of solar in the summertime. Don't be that person. And even if you were that person, that's okay because you've gone solar. But I would really, really encourage you, if you're thinking about it, just go ahead and start having the conversations now and getting things teed up and ready to go, because it's not as busy for the installers to install the solar systems. The only hangup that I'm really, really seeing, guys, is with the utility company and main service panel upgrades. This is a huge delay. It requires the utility companies to come out and do a meter spot. They want to check where the meter's at, and does it need to be relocated? Do they need to, can they go for like, or do they actually need to go up to 200, 225 amp main service panel upgrade? I have one homeowner that actually does need to go to 225 from a 100 amp main service panel. And thankfully, this homeowner has overhead fed electric power coming into their home versus underground. If you have underground electricity coming into your home and feeding your main service panel, and you have to upgrade it from a 100 to 200 amp, that requires trenching and a lot longer queue and a lot more expenses associated with that. So I always pray that their overhead fed electrical main power source to the house, just because we can avoid trenching. There's still work that needs to be done by a utility company to get 200 amps into that home, but it's much easier and accessibility wise. But what we're finding and seeing and experiencing across the board, one, we're experiencing panel shortages. So a lot of solar panels, they're in high demand, and the supply is being held up at ports and docks and all that stuff. So we're experiencing that. But when it comes to utility companies, main service panel upgrades, and at least with PG&E, is taking a lot longer than I have ever seen before, meaning months, like taking months to get it done. And homeowners are not happy with that, especially when expectations were set that it wouldn't take this long, and it is. So just anticipate that if you need a main service panel upgrade, if you have one of those original old Zensko panels, or an old, like it's old 90 amp panels or 100 amp and it looks archaic, it's likely going to need to be upgraded and brought up to code. If it's directly over your gas meter and gas valve and everything, the exhaust valve, and it needs to be upgraded and you can't do a like for like, sometimes those need to be, and it's going to a 200 amp, you have to relocate it at least 3 feet. That's at least building code here in Northern California, and with the utility company, anticipate that as well. So that's a lot more information about main service panels and upgrades that I wanted to talk about, but it is something that I run into a lot with my homeowners. So just be aware of that. That's something that would maybe possible to have happen when you get solar installed. So um, just have a heads up about that, and you'll thank me later and not be surprised by that. But there's a lot of benefits of going solar in the wintertime. Less wait for actual solar panels to be installed. They're not as crazy busy. The installers are not as crazy busy as in the summertime. Main panel upgrades are where you're going to maybe see the most delay from the utility company. And then obviously we have to coordinate with the county or the city building inspectors to come out and inspect everything. And then the utility company, they're the last ones that give you the blessing to turn on your solar system. So thankfully, I'm not seeing that long of delay to get PTO. I've seen it in a couple of weeks for some homeowners, and that really makes me happy. So, but it can take 5 to 6 weeks from the final inspection for the utility companies to turn systems on. So, just wanted to come on and talk to you about why it's a good idea to go solar in the wintertime. Granted, if you live in an area where you get a lot of snow, that might have some restraints or restrictions, or maybe more difficult to take care of if there's snow on your rooftop. But where I live in California, we don't really see snow. So the worst that we're going to see is rain. And even then, it doesn't take very long for the roofs to dry out. So that is it. That's all I wanted to share about solar tonight on Solar Sundays with Jaime Greene, the Solar Queen. If you are watching this or watching in the replay and you're interested in solar for your home, you can reach out to me on my website, which is jamiegreene.thesolarqueen.com. Or you can send me a message on if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. You can, I don't think I streamed this out to LinkedIn, but if you wanted to, you can reach out to me that way. And if you want to send me an email, you can just send me an email here at jamie@jamiegreene.thesolarqueen.com. Best way to set up a virtual appointment is just going to my website and filling out the form there. You have the opportunity to give me information about your home and upload a utility bill, because you do have to do that. But one of the things, just so you know, the utility company has made it that much more difficult for me to call in and get your usage. So if you do upload or send me your utility bill, they require either you and I to get on the phone together and call the utility company, because they require the last 4 digits of your social security number. Or if you trust me with that, to call in and get your usage, you can supply me with the last 4 digits of your social security number. I promise I will not do anything with it other than call the utility company, and that's it. But that's something that is a new requirement by specifically PG&E to get your usage for your historical usage. So if you're not comfortable with that, you can just download the last 12 months of your utility bills and send them to me as well. So that is that, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I will respond to them later on. But I just wanted to come in and talk to you guys about why it's advantageous to go solar in the wintertime. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving with their family and friends, and we'll see you guys all later. Take care.